Hello everyone, Joshua Myers here, and I'm with my friend Abe here.
Hello.
And today we're going to be reviewing, what are we going to be reviewing exactly, Abe?
We're going to be reviewing a Godzilla movie. It's Godzilla, King of the Monsters, I think.
Yeah, it's Godzilla, King of the Monsters, so... we actually, how long ago was it when we saw this, would you say?
We saw it we saw it Wednesday night.
Yeah, and, so what are some of the stuff you want to talk about with this movie?
Well, we could probably start with how we felt about how some of the human characters in there.
Yeah. For me, honestly, the human characters were, like, I would consider them pretty bad, actually. Like, it suffered from the same problem that the 2014 movie saw. Like, that the 2014 movie did. That the 2014 movie had.
Like what exactly?
You would just have to watch the movie.
Okay.
Yeah, Abe here has not seen the 2014 movie, so...
I'm not that much of a movie buff compared to my friend here.
Yeah.
Anyway, so...
although they do have it at Walmart in the free 75 bin, so...
Right. Though, we'll see about that.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. So, well, who's your favorite character in there, I guess?
honestly, I don't really have a favorite character. There was nothing there for me to grasp onto, except for maybe, well, Godzilla.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. For me, I don't know. I like the character. I didn't think the human characters were that bad. I thought that the drama was okay.
Like I didn't thought the human characters were like gosh awful or anything. You know, like I've seen worse characters than this in movies. Hellraiser Revelations, everybody. Yeah.
No.
Also, Halloween Resurrection, like trick or treat, motherfucker.
Yeah, that line's kind of dated, but
Yeah.
it's like one of those cheesy ones that you kind of like.
Yeah.
So like it could sum up. What was it? Lucky Charms? No.
Fuck you, Lucky Charms.
No, Leprechaun Man in the Hood or whatever.
Oh.
But yeah.
Anyway, back to what we were talking about. But yeah, these characters are not downright awful. Like I've seen way worse characters in movies than this, but they're not really good either. You know, like they're nothing that great.
Some of them are better than others. I mean, I think the person who played the woman, her name starts with an E. What was it? Emma? Yeah, Emma.
Yeah, Emma. Yeah.
I thought that like the main family wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I mean it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be with the main family.
Yeah.
It's just for me. I think they should have showed at least explained how she got to that point. You know, in the movie, like, because she basically became crazy almost at the end.
I think, they didn't really do a good job.
Like, they didn't, show a gradual way of her coming to that conclusion, you know, and that.
Who knows? Maybe, if we watched the previous movie in the series, that would explain a lot more.
It really doesn't. Well,
it doesn't?
Well, I'm not sure. I haven't seen Kong Skull Island. That was the previous one before this.
Alright, then. But yeah, though, wait, is that when is that spoilers ahead? Well, minor one, but is that when the attack on San Francisco happened? Was in that movie?
No, that was in the 2014 movie.
That was in
Godzilla 2014.
Okay, then so they don't explain that part at all then?
What I'm saying is they don't explain for some of her reasonings of some of the actions she does, you know. really. I mean, they kind of do, but it's like they don't show, like, a gradual, like, basically show why she came to that conclusion, you know, why she ended up doing what she did, really.
Well, could it be that... So then, would you have to rewatch the 2014 Godzilla movie to kind of see some of that reasoning again?
No, not really. In fact,
no?
This is all brand new stuff in this movie, like, as far as brand new characters, and that none of these characters appeared in the 2014 movie, except for the people who work for Monarch.
Well, I thought the guy that they showed at the front, Mark, I think his name was? I thought he was the one that... It was a continuation of that movie because they were looking for their kids and stuff, and one of them died.
No, there are totally new characters in this series.
Okay, then fair enough.
So.
Okay, well, obviously, this is the first one I've seen of this remastered series, so...
Yeah, of this, what, as they call it, the MonsterVerse.
The MonsterVerse, right.
Which it started with Godzilla 2014, then Kong Skull Island, now Godzilla King of the Monsters, and will later follow up in 2020 with Godzilla versus Kong.
Right. Oh shoot, though. So, but yeah, though, Emma, like, her reasoning was kind of off during some of that, especially the crazy scene, but overall, though, between her, the actress who played her, and Emma and Mark had this interesting dynamic going on, where it's like, she was like this ego crazy terrorist person, kind of reminds me of a familiar art teacher, in a way, but not really, and also Mark is this guy, like, the Rambo kind, where it's like, oh, no, I know everything, you don't know anything you're talking about at all.
Like, other than the fact that he didn't really show the gradual evolution of how she kind of became cuckoo, you know, like, really, and came to all those conclusions, and, like, you know, and the reasoning for why, like, and how she, like, did what she did, you know, like, I think it wasn't done that well, but other than that, like, when it was focusing on the family aspect, I think it wasn't that bad. I've seen much better family drama stuff in other movies than this.
Like, what kind would you say that isn't a horror movie?
Let's see.
Gotta give you a challenge.
Kinda tough. I can't really think of anything as of right now for that, but...
Okay, then. Fair enough.
So, yeah, the one thing I think this movie did improve on from the 2014 movie is the monster fighting.
The monster fighting?
Yeah, because in the 2014 movie, and if you watch it, you'll definitely know what I'm talking about, they basically, like, the one thing the 2014 movie has over this one, though, is that Gareth Edwards, who directed that film, was, like, he definitely knew how to be able to capture the size and scope of those creatures, like, really well. Like, they looked massive in that movie, and this one, not so much. I think it's a little bit off, you know, at times.
I mean, I could see that, but I think that's just mainly because of the graphics they use.
And in the 2014 film, the one thing that is kind of a letdown was, first of all, which I wouldn't mind it as long as they had really good characters, but they really didn't. Other than one of the actors, Bryan Cranston, who was the father, and they basically, spoilers for you, they killed him off. Early in the movie, and it's like, and focus on his, like, freaking stupid son and his family.
Well, you kind of told me that, though, while we were watching that movie.
Yeah, and...
Oh, yeah, that's another thing, too, wasn't it? Is that during some of the fight scenes, they went on for too long there.
Yeah, the fight scenes kind of dragged on a bit too much in this, but I think it is still better than the 2014 film, where there were times where they would show the monsters meet up and that, and they start a little bit of fighting, and then they cut it, and it's like you see it on a TV screen on the news, and it's like, oh, come on, we want to see that. Like, and knowing that, like, you don't see Godzilla until halfway through that movie, like.
Oh, I
and it's like, yeah. So I think this was something they took into consideration with this one. And actually, first of all, showed Godzilla off earlier in the film than that. And showed a lot more of the monster fights in it, so.
I don't know, like, I mean, if you're saying that it's as bad as, if you're saying that it's this bad, then I could agree, but.
Yeah, well, one of these days I'm probably going to get Godzilla 2014 on DVD at Walmart. You and I could probably watch it.
Okay.
Point, so.
Well, you could, I don't know, like, for that movie, even if it's just shown halfway through, I mean, it could be super epic.
Yeah, and it was epic when they did show it, Godzilla. In fact, I was even like, when me and Amanda were watching it, when that happened, I was like, and Liam Neeson just pissed himself. Several times. Yeah, and also I thought, yeah, like I said, the monster fight, there's a lot more monster fights in this, there's a lot more monsters than the last one. The last one there was only like, maybe a total of 3.
Total of 3?
And two of them were of the same monster.
Really?
So, yeah, like same species.
God. You're gonna have to put no spoilers ahead in this movie.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, in this review, my bad.
Like, I'm probably going to put a card at the beginning of this video being like, and have an alarm play, you know, like, spoilers.
Oh, you're not going to beat a drum or something?
No.
No. Alright.
So.
What else was there? What about the Chinese dude? Oh, what?
We could talk about, some of the new, some of the monsters they put in this film other than Godzilla.
Oh, yeah.
So we got some of the original, Godzilla monsters, like, Mothra, King Ghidorah, Rodan.
Right. King Ghidorah. Well, there was also, I want to say maybe 9 that showed up in there?
Yeah, I think so. There was a lot more different monsters that appeared. Some new, that's never been in a Godzilla movie, before.
Like the Firehawk guy?
Well, no, that's, Rodan.
Rodan, okay.
Yeah, he's appeared in other Godzilla movies, so it's King Ghidorah, free-headed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
King Ghidorah,
Mothra has appeared in other Godzilla movies.
Oh, yeah.
Even some of the older Japanese ones.
Right, yeah.
So, yeah, and, like, some people were complaining about some of the designs, especially for Mothra in this one, and I didn't have a problem with their redesigns in this one.
Me neither. I mean, it just looks like a giant wasp, honestly.
Like moth, actually. They tried to make Mothra more like a real moth would, you know, like as far as design and even behavior.
Well, no, okay, yeah, I take that part back, but it's like when you got that stinger at the end there, that's why I went with the wasp.
Yeah, and
I mean, it was cool, but it didn't make really that much sense, though.
I guess it was like, you know, I guess for them, they felt like it would have just been boring after a while, just having Mothra just flapping her wings, you know, to, you know, take down monsters.
Well, they don't really show her that much in the movie in the first place.
Yeah, so.
Surprisingly. But yeah.
Yeah, but, and also, what did you thought of King Ghidorah in this one?
King Ghidorah?
Yeah.
He kind of reminds me of, I mean, honestly, I thought his name was Hydra at first, because there was another green monster, I forget. It was a Pokemon, though, a legendary. But, as far as him, though, I don't know, I think him or the Firebird, those were probably my favorite.
Yeah, him and Rodan.
Rodan, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, those are probably my 2 favorite ones other than Godzilla. And then, as far as redesigns go and that.
Fair enough, yeah.
And, another cool thing is, they end up using, they didn't use, create new versions of the sound effects for these monsters and that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which is what they did with Godzilla's sound effect in the 2014 movie.
Mm-hmm.
They even used stuff like the original Godzilla roar from the Japanese movies and that.
Yeah, that's true. But when I heard that, I thought it sounded pretty familiar, but I thought they just made their own version of it just because.
They did make their own version of it in the 2014 movie, so.
But
like it was like a redesign of the Roar. So.
But in this one, they reuse the older one.
Because this film basically, what it was is, it basically felt like to me it was more of a tribute, really, than
doing its own thing.
Yeah, of the original Godzilla movies. And in fact, if you remember, even at the end credits, they showed like, basically, saying this movie was for like some of the people who worked on original movies.
Yeah, so the creator and.
Yeah, which some of them which they passed away. So.
And who was that second one though?
I don't remember. I think that was the actor who was in the Godzilla suit in the originals.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes more sense then, I suppose.
Yeah.
Let's see. We could probably do a basic rundown of it, like the plot wise. Have you done something like that before?
Yeah, I have. So,
okay. So the plot.
I'll let you take over for this one.
Okay, so how it usually starts is, there's this big scene of it where Emma and her daughter, what was her name?
I honestly forgot.
I can remember her son's name, but not the girl. Anyway, though, basically.
Which is we could give the daughter a code name, basically.
Okay.
I guess so.
So we'll go with Tiffany, I guess.
Yeah, I guess we could go with Tiffany. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's going to be her codename for whenever we mention her. So.
Yeah. So basically, Emma and Tiffany at the start of the movie, what it actually shows is Mark and Emma are all looking for their son Adam because I don't know, some kind of building. There was some kind of collapse of a building, and what ended up happening is I guess Godzilla and some other monsters destroyed San Francisco, and
this was the part, and this part takes place during the events at the end of the 2014 movie. So
yeah, and what ends up happening is pretty much they could find him, he dies, whatever, and so they move on a few years, and it was like 5 years or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. It's just been a few like several years. It takes place several years after the 2014 movie. So.
Right. And so what ends up happening is pretty much we shoot to the scene of where I think Tiffany is typing on her computer and whatnot, and she's talking with her dad, even though she's not supposed to, because he had a mental breakdown, and so he's somewhere else, just trying to be in nature and focus by himself, like you did that one time when you're 15. Like when you sniff those essential oils, pretty much.
Yeah.
What ends up happening? So basically, they talk to each other, and then her mom comes in asking what all the hubbub was about, and
I should probably intervene here. Like, I do apologize for that sound. That's just my dog barking like crazy. Like seriously, like.
He's pretty eager to join us too, but he can't because he's just so loud.
Yeah, and so hyper too,
like a little kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, though, what ends up happening next is that basically, Tiffany is trying to cook food for her mom and her, but then the alarms go off because the bacon in the frying pan has been cooking way too long, and she's like, oh shit, and starts to try to flap it out. Are you trying to be a slappy boy there? Like,
or maybe I'm trying to be like the T-Rex and his little arms like.
Oh, yes. No. What ends up happening next is that her mom enters and asks what smells so good when she hears an alarm. And so basically both
smells so good.
Yeah. And what ends up happening is basically they have to flap their arms to get the smoke away from the alarm. And also Tiffany throws the bacon away and the frying pan, I think, into the freaking sink and not actually wash it out or anything like that, which is just super weird. But anyway, her mom starts asking, "Oh, what are you looking up there on her computer?" before she closes it. And Tiffany just goes, "Recipes about toast." Because I don't know, because even though I'm a teenager, I still don't know how to cook food right. Evidently, because that's the frying pan incident.
That's just a terrible lie. Even I could have come up with a better lie than that.
But considering how the character acts as your typical teenager, it does kind of make sense, I think. Or at least that's probably how I would have done it if I was still a teen. What ends up happening next is they shoot to. I think there's this pan shot where they go out from their house into this giant Chinese forest, pretty much. And I think it's something to do with like the Ming Dynasty or whatever. But what ends up happening is once they get there, that's when they find Mothra. Where basically she's about to bloom and whatnot. And apparently these radiation levels for the longest time didn't. They only spiked about an hour ago. And before that they didn't they weren't there at all. And so what ends up happening is they surround the entire thing as she's about to be born, and they're about to capture it because maybe it's for extermination, maybe it's to learn more about it. We don't know yet. So what ends up happening is she goes in and waits for it to be blooming and stuff like that. And her daughter's just like, "Oh wow, it's so cool. Oh my gosh." And so when it's about to bloom though, everyone gets afraid and whatnot, and they don't know what's going on. All of a sudden, someone off camera shoots us. Well, all these military men start coming in, and they start shooting up the place and whatnot. And that upsets Mothra because like she's in unfamiliar territory and she doesn't know what's going on. One of the capturers, guys in the suit, decide that they are all afraid and they're gonna try to sting her.
Honestly, I don't think we need to explain the whole, every single scene or moment in this film.
Okay then. So,
otherwise this video would be way too long.
Oh, I can make it an hour long. I got time. But no. Okay. So basically, she gets afraid. She pulls out her little Orca thing, which is a giant touchscreen computer that
could basically replicate this different sounds and
pretty much.
Basically to be able to in sense communicate with these creatures.
Right.
In sense.
And basically, what ends up happening next is because all these monsters are starting to appear all over the world, even though that's supposed to be one at a time, they go to Mark because he's apparently the tough guy that knows everything else about these computers. Just like, oh, I don't need.
In fact, I think he was one of the one. Like, I think he was I think the main one who designed it. Designed the Orca device.
Him and Emma both did.
Yeah.
As he quoted a graduation project, pretty much. Or, well, when they were in grad school, I should say. Yeah. And so basically, they have him come on as an advisor, but immediately right away, as I've been saying, he's just.
And then all of a sudden, Hulk Hogan appears and it's like, "Oh yeah, brother!"
Oh yes, yeah. And then you cried out because you got a giant man crush on him. You just want to touch his silky smooth hair. Yes.
If anybody wants to touch his beard, his long beard, it's like.
What are you going to give your swishy hair a sweep up? A dust out, you could say, if you know what I'm saying. You might clean him up after all. Besides, he's had a lot of incidents within the past. But no, what ended up happening though next is basically they go get Mark. They try to come up with some kind of plan of fighting Godzilla since he for the last 5 years has been off the map and whatnot. And long story short, they figure out that he's heading towards Antarctica because that's where Emma and her daughter are going. And they teamed up with this British eco-terrorist dude because humanity's bad, man. Environment nature is good.
And that's one of the things I don't get about with some of these movies that cover, like, you know, like saving, you know, the planet, and that is that they always try to seem to make human beings the fault of everything, you know, and trying to make us seem like monsters, you know, almost. Like, and also, like, saying how we're just inferior species and that, and how, you know, like...
Yeah.
I really don't like it when films do that, actually.
I mean, it can be done, but it depends on how you do it.
Yeah, like...
This movie, I don't think it really pushed it, so to speak, but it was just more like a slap on something together story and put it in there, pretty much.
And it's like, if you're going to have it and not have it, like, be either the focus or have it be done well, you know, it's like, why bother having it in there in the first place?
Well, you could see where, most of the budget didn't go to the writing, that's for sure.
Honestly, I think most of the budget went to the effects, maybe, and that.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
So.
But anyway, what ended up happening was they all eventually go to the Antarctica, and that's when they find this new thing called, and they nickname it
Monster Zero.
Monster Zero, yeah.
Which turns out to be King Ghidorah.
Yeah, Ghidorah. But what they do to get him out is basically they drill they use these big ass drills to put giant holes in there, pretty much. And
they put some sort of machine, like devices in there.
Yeah, like some thermite bombs or something like that. But
and then eventually Ghidorah breaks out and starts attacking everybody, really.
Right. Not before they have this giant battle, though, where it's like the military, or Mothra's military, versus...
those eco-terrorists.
Yeah, pretty much. And the eco-terrorists actually did a pretty good job at the start of it.
Yeah.
But what ended up happening was basically this black woman shoots one guy, and they knock the controller out of the British dude's hand, and Emma grabs it, yells at Mark to run because, I don't know, I guess...
she's crazy.
Yeah, I guess it's supposed to represent how they got different ideals, and the daughter, Tiff, is sitting with her mom, pretty much.
Yeah.
Anyway, what ends up happening is the entire place blows up, everyone tries to get back in their vehicles and flies away. Well, then King Ghidorah fights everyone.
Yeah. And then Godzilla shows up.
Yeah, he shows up, and pretty much they start fighting for a while. But
the fight is awesome. I will say that when they do show it.
Yeah, but then what ends up happening is doesn't King Ghidorah fly away, and Godzilla he's good, but he gets his ass beat handed to him, pretty much. Would you say?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay, and then that's when we get this big giant stealth bomber.
I think so. I don't know.
They call it the mother or something.
The motherfucker.
I mean, if you are having sex with a BBW, sure. Seems like your kind of thing, Josh.
It's like, drop the motherfucker.
Oh, that's what you call a fat boy. But no, what ends up happening is, or fat man, I'm sorry. But what ends up happening is pretty much, their giant main airship comes in and shoots King Ghidorah for a little bit before he decides, screw this fight, I'm going to fly up into the clouds and go to friggin' Mexico. And basically what ends up happening is Godzilla, it's like, oh, I'm going to scream at you because you pussy out on me. And Mark just kind of blacks out right there, just like, what? And then shortly afterwards, all of them are like back in the airship and explaining a bunch of stuff when basically Godzilla decides like, oh, I'm going to attack you and whatnot, pretty much, as a sign of, which I didn't really get that part about.
Yeah, there's some stuff here in this movie that's like, I feel like it kind of does go all over the place at times, you know? Like, it almost at times, like, there's times where it's like it goes all over the place and some of it doesn't really add to anything or it doesn't, like, you know, fall through with it. It's like they go to one thing and it's like, okay, we're done with that. Go to the next thing and it's like, oh, we're done with that, you know?
Yeah, well, and that's the part right here. It's just like, he surrounds their base pretty much, or, at that time, the base, not the, they get off the plane, or I'm sorry, the stealth bomber into their base again, and pretty much, for whatever reason, Godzilla surrounds it and comes towards them. And apparently, what I just don't understand is, what they say throughout the movie that they hint at that he's trying to save them and whatnot, but apparently he's coming towards them because I guess he's threatening them, trying to size them up pretty much. And from the way
because he's coming.
That's what she said.
It's like it's, if it's like Godzilla's like that's like.
Too bad that's not your nickname though. That's your sister's.
If anything, I call my sister Pothead.
Pothead?
Yeah.
Why? Because Mophead was taken?
No, because it's like.
You kind of sound like you were trying to blow into my ears. But anyway, what ends up happening is basically Mark goes over there and I guess he's trying to look at Godzilla and show that, hey, we're not a threat to you at all. We're your allies, whatever. And for whatever reason, Godzilla's like, okay, that's it. And so they're like, oh, thank God, we don't have to shoot this guy. All of a sudden, he swims around and just goes, or something like that. It just makes a really loud noise and scared the crap out of us.
And what? I thought you meant thank Godzilla.
Oh yeah, missed opportunity there. Well, hey, at least we figured that out.
Yeah,
before the comments said.
yeah.
Like, oh, perfect opportunity. Oh my gosh. But anyway, I forget some other parts of it. Oh yeah, they eventually go to Mexico. Emma broadcasts this big signal, pretty much, and this giant firebird comes out, and that's when
which the firebird is Rodan. So
Rodan.
This is when we first get to see him.
Right, and like he kind of looks like a prehistoric Flappy Bird. What was
like basically basically like a pterosaur from hell, like giant pterosaur from hell. Well, giant pterosaur from hell.
Yeah, I mean, he's mostly bony and stuff, but he looks bony, but he definitely is made out of, like, ash, lava, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But what ends up happening is basically they decide that, oh, King Ghidorah is trying to go to this other place to meet up with
a hooker?
Oh. No, he's not going to Tijuana yet, Josh.
Tijuana?
You might want to do that for your birthday, though. But anyway, what ends up happening is, I mean, just look at him, people. Doesn't he just deserve to die in a hooker's arms after he came all the way there? This guy tells me that his pipe dream is to die having sex with 100 hookers.
If anything, my dream is to die while having sex with my girlfriend.
Wow. No, that's morbid. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, that wouldn't be a bad way to go.
Yeah, details. But what ends up happening is, wow, holy cow, this has gone off the rails.
Yeah.
But anyway, what ends up happening is in this, fast forward it a little bit, like, there's a ton of it where, to be honest, we kind of blanked out on just because, it was just, I mean, the scenes were good, don't get me wrong, but we just started talking and whatnot.
Yeah, like, I mean, I think we kind of started to get uninvested in the movie at that point.
Yeah, but basically is pretty much, the giant firebird, man, I can't believe I can't remember his name.
Rodan.
Rodan.
I mean, I think it's a pretty simple name to remember. Rodan.
You think so, but I got King
Ghidorah.
Ghidorah
Like,
first.
basically, King Ghidorah and Rodan mixed up a bit.
Right.
Would you say?
Oh, no, it's just Rodan is the one that I keep forgetting.
Maybe because King Ghidorah is the most interesting design out of them.
Yeah, that's... Well, I would say Mothra is, but King Ghidorah comes kind of close.
Yeah, so...
Yeah. So, but what ends up happening is basically they shoot him down to distract him, and for some reason, I don't know why, but they decided it's a good idea to have the mothership and all of its fighter planes and jets shoot it to lure it back to what was it? Back to Monster Zero, King Ghidorah. And I'm not really sure why they do that. I kind of spaced out on that part.
Yeah.
But what ended up happening was him and they basically shoot him, and it's like there's probably 5 minutes of epicness and whatnot.
Yeah.
Just where the planes are just flying all over the place, and this big hawk, where Rodan is just flying everywhere, just flapping his wings and smashing them with his claws and whatnot. But eventually they get into this giant storm, because I guess King Ghidorah can do that. They try to get him to fight each other, and eventually he almost... It ends up in a scene where basically the mothership almost gets gets destroyed because all its other planes are pretty much out, or fighters are killed. And then, like, I don't know, within a couple of seconds, they make it into the storm. They fly out just in time for Rodan to get hit by King Ghidorah. And then fast forward into the movie, a lot of stuff happens, and Emma says, like, I'm doing this for the world, not just you, and that's because we are an infection, and these titans, which is what the monarchs are going after, which are what all these giant monsters are called, they're trying to go after them because apparently they're the world's natural body defense. Sort of like how white blood cells make up a good part of that. That's sort of what the Titans are the white blood cells of the Earth in a way. I know there's a few other things of that, but for the science geeks and nerds out there, but I'm not going to get that technical.
Yeah.
What's up happening is basically they go all the way. They eventually shoot down Godzilla because the United States like, oh, we don't want you to, you guys are useless and we'll do this on our own hands. So they shot a giant freaking missile at Godzilla, which kills him, but King Ghidorah still revives back and regrows the head. He's like, oh hell no, motherfuckers, I'm about to beat down all your asses, okay? And so afterwards he kind of floats away and goes somewhere else. Like, he becomes the king of everything, pretty much. But then fast forward into the movie, pretty much they thought like, oh crap, we have to go revive Godzilla. So they pump him full of what's it called?
I think it's just
Nukes.
like, I think it's just like radiation and that, which was what Godzilla was made from. So.
Right. And so what ends up happening is they have a Chinese dude who drives all the way over there, and he sacrifices himself for the greater good, pretty much. Yeah. And then what ends up happening is they all celebrate. Godzilla looks at them, kind of hesitant about trusting them, but he decides in a few seconds, like, alright, we cool. And just kind of dives and looks for King Ghidorah, pretty much. And, well, what else happens after that? Gosh, my memory's a little bit faded.
I don't remember either. The most I know is King Ghidorah gets killed, I think, after a fight with Godzilla and that. And there's an after credit scene in this movie where the main antagonist of the film, main human antagonist, the British eco-terrorist, ends up, basically they ended up discovering Ghidorah's body, afterwards. And my guess is that they plan on trying to, I guess, clone him or something like that. Like,
it could be a mecha version of him.
Yeah, like Mecha King Ghidorah, which could maybe lead to eventually seeing Mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
Which I think that would be cool. Like, for the next Godzilla movie to have Mechagodzilla and that.
Yeah, exactly. Which I think wouldn't be that bad either, though. I don't know how they would fit something like that because in this movie, by the end of it, the entire Earth is pretty much destroyed.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe they could secret laboratory or something.
Something like that.
But yeah, though.
Here's something they could do. They did set Monarch had tons of like underground bunkers and stuff like that.
Within the last 60 years.
Yeah, maybe they could sneak into one of them and start building in there for a lab and that. So.
Right. Probably scavenge for a lot of different equipment. So
and
probably blackmail a few Monarch scientists.
Yeah.
Start working on it.
Yeah, and then you could get like Mecha Ghidorah, like Mecha King Ghidorah and Mechagodzilla too. Maybe.
What about Mecha Mothra?
I don't think there was ever Mecha Mothra before.
I don't know if they could ever do that.
Yeah.
It would be kind of weird, but still though. But anyway.
Then again, what isn't weird about all of this?
I mean, I could accept most of it just because I think it's supposed to be your typical cheesy action movie.
basically to me it felt like a science fiction action B movie.
Yeah. I mean,
which I think it could have been much more than that. Like, I think it could have been much more than that if done well, you know?
I mean, it could be, but I just like it because it's just different. It's not trying to be like a... It's not trying to be a superhero movie or anything like that.
It's like something different, you know, that, like, different than any other... At least different than some of the films they've been coming out with.
Right, I mean, which, don't get me wrong, most of the Marvel hero movies are super good.
Yeah.
DC, once in a while.
Yeah, it's just for me, like, I feel like Hollywood is coming out with nothing original anymore. Like, nothing new. Sometimes they come out with some good stuff, but other than that, like, not much. Like,
I think there are some original movies out
but
there.
they don't get as much recognition.
Yeah, or they're not very mainstream, or they probably won't be something.
Order from the independent industry.
Probably, yeah. Like, one that I haven't, that was showing during the movie theater as a commercial was this one called The Stupor. Or, no, it's, what was
I think it was The Stupor.
The Stupor?
Something like that.
Yeah, or Super or something. It's something rhyming with Uber.
I will say we are kind of getting off topic now. So.
Is there anything else we need to discuss about it?
Oh, the music. We could discuss about the music, which the score is composed by a guy named Bear McCreary, who composed the music for the Walking Dead show, and is even composing music for the upcoming Child's Play remake. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that comes out next week. The 21st.
Oh yeah. Speaking of that, Mark Hamill is trying to voice Chucky in this one too.
He is voicing Chucky.
Which I don't know.
Is that one you would want to go see in the theater with me?
It would have to be after the 21st because I'm planning on going. Ideally, seeing Toy Story 4 there on the 21st, but we'll see how that goes.
I mean. Also, I've been hearing Toy Story 4 has been doing really good, actually. Like, some people actually seen it, they felt like it didn't really need to exist, because the trilogy was good as is, and the third film wrapped up the series perfectly.
Right, yeah.
And, some people were really worried about this one being bad, you know?
Yeah.
And, I saw one review, which, on this, YouTube channel called, Chris Stuckman.
Yeah.
Which that's a channel I would recommend you checking out. Actually, it's pretty good.
Okay.
He does a lot of movie reviews and that. And there's another channel that he's actually close friends with, and that's a channel called The Flick Pick.
The Flick Pick? Oh yeah, I see it right there. I thought you were going to say a different thing besides Pig that has an R in it.
Which I definitely recommend you checking those two out.
Okay then.
So yeah, and but yeah, Chris Stuckman went into it thinking it was going to be bad. He wasn't thinking it was going to be bad. In fact, he was hoping it would be good. But he did have that worry there, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, he went into it and he actually thought it was really good. In fact, he thought it was as good as the other three.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, and also you have in there Keanu Reeves voicing a character.
What characters does he voice?
Like this toy that's like a Canadian stunt guy called Boom Kaboom or something like that.
Oh, does he grab a freaking pencil and start stabbing every character? Or like go, yes, no. Like he just, is he very dark and doesn't talk that much?
No, he's very energetic in that film.
Really?
Yeah.
That's surprising.
Once we're done with this, I could show you a trailer to Toy Story 4.
Shoot, man. After this, I don't think we would have enough time.
And honestly, I thought about maybe I could go see Toy Story 4 too in the theater.
I thought that, well, you don't seem to be that much of a fan of the series, though.
Actually, I do like the series, actually. In fact, like, I really love the first one, especially.
Really?
Yeah. The third one I thought that one was really good too. The second one,
I don't know, like, I think the second one was better than the first one, but I do remember going to see Toy Story 3, and that one just made me tear up just because.
Yeah. That one also made me tear up. I saw it on DVD, and yeah, it made me tear up. So.
I mean, they were born a little bit before our times and stuff, but.
Well, actually, I saw like those movies came out around the like I actually ended up seeing them when I was like pretty young.
Well, no, what I'm saying is it got released when we were.
Yeah.
Oh, that was my phone there. Sorry, folks. But they were born. They came out a little bit before we were born, is what I'm saying. Just a tiny bit before.
Yeah,
our time.
and.
But we did essentially grow up with them.
Yeah.
Just.
And I'm kind of interested in checking this one out, just to at least see how good it is or not, you know.
Yeah.
And so far I've heard at least one review said it was really good. So.
Awesome.
So yeah. I guess if you wouldn't mind, I would like to maybe go see it with you. If you're okay with that.
We could probably do something like that and see what's up.
Yeah.
Alright then. Well,
I guess we should get to our ratings.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I do it by star rating, so.
Okay, then what would you rate out of this?
I would probably give this movie a 3 out of 5 star. So.
3 out of 5 stars?
Yeah, because it's like, in a sense, it's a little bit better than the 2014 movie. The character stuff, although not awful, still doesn't beat Bryan Cranston in the first movie.
Anyway, what ends up happening? My star would be probably 3.5 out of 5, just because not seeing the movie.
Seeing the others.
Not seeing the other ones. This one wasn't that bad. I mean, if you turn off your brain, it's probably maybe a 3 and 3/4, just because it wasn't that bad, but it was more popcorn filler.
Yeah, and and you could see how there's problems with it still, even if you turn off your brain with it.
Yeah, it's pretty nuclear that this movie is definitely not that amazing.
Yeah. Although I will say it is better than the '98 reboot with Matthew Broderick.
I might have seen that one. We probably had that one on DVD when I was little. But
yeah, I definitely had that one, and I've seen it. Which at the time I did like it, and I realized now it was pretty bad.
Well, but yeah, though. Anyway, folks, that's gonna have to be it. I'm a little bit short on time here since I got to get up early in the morning here. But Anyway, though, that's going to be our review about it. Just leave your comments below telling us what you thought about it and if there's anything we need to improve on, which we'll see.
Yeah, and I hope to have you in some more reviews soon, and maybe I could bring in some of my other friends too. And then,
yeah, man, definitely.
So I guess that's it for today, folks. This is Joshua Myers, and
Abraham.
And we'll see you next time.